Well, the time is just gone 17 minutes past 9 as we continue with the second half of the show this morning, right here on Salam Media. If you have just tuned in, we welcome you to the show on the various platforms of Salam Media. Still to come from now, right until 10 a.m. It is tax filing season, and SARS has issued a warning with regards to the latest tax return scam. We'll be talking with Farid Khan shortly, Regional Director for SARS Gauteng. We also will be taking a look at the Western Cape government seeking to pass a law giving provincial and local authorities more powers. We'll find out what that is all about. JP Smith, the City of Cape Town's Mayoral Committee member for Safety and Security. And towards the end of the show, development surrounding property tax evaluation, which is underway. We'll be talking with Julius Kleinhans, Executive Manager for Social Innovation at the organization undoing tax abuse, OUTA. So all of that to come on the show. Stay with us this morning. Don't go away. But right now, we're going across to be joined by Farid Khan, Regional Director for SARS Gauteng. And Farid, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome, and we do appreciate you taking time out this morning.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you and to the listeners.
Yes, Farid, it is tax filing season that is coming up, and South Africa is not a stranger to scams. And sadly, SARS being exposed to tax return scams. In fact, I actually got a WhatsApp message this morning with regard to somebody wanting to know how genuine it is because there was some link that was sent to him via SMS wanting to know, is this a scam? SARS has issued correspondence which requires immediate attention, but it's got a link and it says rebrand, and certain in fact it just doesn't make sense because this is not the way that SARS actually communicates.
Absolutely. So, Inayat, let's just first start off with the good news. Filing season starts off tonight, on the 7th at 8 p.m. But the good news is for the majority of your listeners, we don't think filing season is going to be a big deal because SARS is auto-assessing almost 5 million people this year. So hopefully we will send you an assessment that you are happy with, and we will pay you a refund if it's due to you. But let's now go on to the scam. First of all, let's just warn the listeners. SARS will never, never send you a link that you need to click on and share password or username or banking details or anything like that. SARS will always send you a message and ask you to log on to their e-filing site. So don't ever click on any links purportedly coming from SARS.
Yes, Farid, in most instances, I know people, the moment they get some sort of a communication from SARS, whether it's a scam, whether it's a link, and people go into panic mode. Because for some reason there is this a concern that it has come from SARS, and sometimes people don't know what to do, and people actually react sometimes to this. And what should they be doing? What should they be looking out for? What should they be careful about?
Okay, so firstly, let's address the fear. Inayat, I want to appeal to the listeners out there. SARS is not an organization to be afraid of if you are not doing anything wrong. So if you're a normal salaried employee, or if you're a business that is running above board, you have nothing to be afraid of. SARS is not the demon that people make it out to be. SARS is here to help. We accept that sometimes people might slip up and might make a mistake. Talk to us. We will help you fix it. We are not in the business of using the big stick. So if you are uncertain, then make an appointment and visit a branch. We have very competent people in our branches who will guide you and assist you. And our first port of call is to accept that you made an honest error and help you to fix it.
Right. Let's just now delve into some of these scams in detail. And I want to look at the whole question surrounding money. And I'm aware of what is called a pay fast SMS scam. And this is where people expect refunds. And yeah, when we're looking at getting an SMS of this nature, because this involves money, because I'm sure this must be one of the most common scams because it involves money for it.
Yes, absolutely. So If you get an SMS, so the first thing to remember is SARS will not send you a link. If there is a link, please do not click on that link. The second thing to remember is you know your tax affairs. If you believe or if you think that the refund is not due to you, then immediately your default position is this is a scam. And if you're uncertain, log on to your e-filing website or visit a branch. That's the best advice I can give to people. We do not use PayFast at SARS. We will not even give you an account number. Please remember, SARS does not distribute a bank account number that you need to deposit money into or pay money to SARS with. SARS has a corporate account. You go to the bank or to your banking site and you will choose SARS IT, no bank account number. So please be extra careful and extra vigilant. And if you're uncertain, call the call center or visit a branch after making an appointment to clarify.
Yes. Now let's just look at some of the other issues as well, because I know that there are people that owe SARS money, their accounts are in arrears, and we've seen other forms of communication coming through with regard to people to view their accounts in arrears. Then you're looking at even things like the income tax work page, the letters of demand. These are all tactics that are actually used to communicate to taxpayers, and as I mentioned, that people sometimes fall prey to this, and I'm sure that there have been people who have been scammed. There have been people who have actually lost money as a result of all these scams, for it.
Yes, absolutely. So if you owe SARS, and the fraudsters are very creative in this respect, they identify people who owe SARS money and then offer you a settlement, a reduced amount to pay, and you pay the money into their bank account and you think you've settled with SARS, but you haven't. So remember that SARS will not send you a compromise or a settlement offer via email or SMS or WhatsApp messages. It will always be done after engagement with you via either a telephone call or a physical visit, and a letter of compromise that will be sent to you first for you to sign and accept before you are expected to make any payment.
Yes. Now, I'm just reading this article and looking at some of the issues that SARS will not do for it. One is, you mentioned it as well, do not open or respond to emails from unknown sources. That is a one. Beware of emails that ask for personal text, banking, and e-filing details. And these include things like login credentials and passwords, PIN numbers, all of those. SARS does not send .htm or .html attachments. SARS will never ever ask for your credit card details. Now, these are very, very important warnings that have been actually issued, and at the same time providing guidelines to taxpayers for it.
Absolutely. And SARS will never ask for your banking details under any circumstances through any social media or email. We will ask you to go into a branch or go onto your e-filing website and update your banking details yourself on your secure profile. So please do not share banking details with anybody. Do not share login details and passwords with anybody under any circumstances. It's treat your SARS password, username, and banking details as if it were a PIN number on your banking card. If you share that with somebody, then you run the risk of losing money.
Definitely. And just looking at it from a SARS perspective, looking at your systems at SARS, and I'm sure these are foolproof. There are checks and balances to make sure that taxpayers and their information is secure for it.
Absolutely. But Inayat, I need to give some advice to the listeners. Our systems are extremely secure. We have a world-class security features on our systems, but they are as secure as the user allows it to be. Now, there are many taxpayers out there who are giving practitioners their username and password. When a practitioner asks you for your username and password, that practitioner should be avoided, because every practitioner is provided with a profile where they can request a taxpayer's details on their own profile. When you give out your username and password to a so-called practitioner, they can commit fraud in your name. as if you are doing it. So please be careful. If you appoint a practitioner, they must use their own password and username.
Mm. Farid, just looking at these scamsters, I'm sure SARS has had the opportunity to investigate some of these scams and to uncover, how these scamsters actually gain information. Apart from just the practitioners that you speak about, they obviously there is information that they are getting from somewhere, and I suppose during the course of your investigations, SARS must have uncovered as to how some of these scams actually work and how these scamsters operate.
Yes, unfortunately, I can't share too many of those details, but several investigations are underway. In fact, just last week, two scamsters were arrested and sentenced to significant terms of prison. So the work is ongoing. But remember, scamsters, fraudsters are very innovative. There are no rules that govern them and how they work. Legitimate organizations follow rules. Scamsters and fraudsters don't follow rules. So where do they get their information? There are several sources. Inayat, I must tell you that just yesterday there were two Facebook posts where people posted their IT34, their assessments, including their tax reference numbers on Facebook. Trust me, scamsters are out there. They can see those things. So um, it's difficult for me to pinpoint exactly where they get the information from, but the sources are varied. There
Mm.
are some allegations that SARS systems were hacked. I can categorically state that our systems have not been hacked ever, and uh, taxpayers' details are secure in SARS.
Well, in this age of digitalization and the era of technology that we are in, and this is exactly that people need to be careful about, particularly when you're looking at social media platforms like Facebook, when you're looking at social media platforms like WhatsApp, and all of that, and all these common social media platforms that people use, and sometimes people don't realize what risk that they are actually putting themselves in for it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Um,
Now,
so the advice to your listeners: SARS is not an organization to be afraid of. SARS default position is to assume innocence and to assume that if there is an error, it was an honest error, and we will go out of our way to assist you if you come clean, if you come forward and declare it. And if you owe SARS money, SARS is always willing to consider a deferred payment arrangement, what we call deferred payment arrangement or an installment agreement with you. But it's in your best interest to come forward rather than to wait for SARS to get hold of you.
Very just a question looking at people who have been scammed, assuming somebody has been scammed and he's made a payment and he thinks he settled his liability with SARS. What sort of recourse do they have, and how amenable would SARS actually be in entertaining someone who has been scammed?
Yeah, that's a difficult question, and it's always painful to hear the stories of people who have lost money to scamsters. But unfortunately, SARS is driven by legislation. The money is owed to the fiscus, and we have to collect that money. It was never paid to SARS, despite our several warnings to taxpayers not to use links that are provided by scamsters. However, SARS is not insensitive. Whilst it cannot write off the debt, it will always be willing to consider payment arrangements. But that is the best that SARS is going to do.
Just finally, Farid, now with tax filing season going to be underway in a matter of few hours, and you mentioned the auto assessments, and clearly that is relieving a lot of pressure on the part of SARS and branches where previously we've seen these massive queues for weeks on end outside these SARS branches, these offices, and all of that to a large extent is not the case, but there are still people that are reliant on SARS that may not have technology at their disposal, that may not be on the app, that may not be on e-filing and those things. Just looking at SARS, what sort of arrangements have been actually made within SARS to assist people to file their tax returns?
Uh, Inayat, shukran for that question. So we are conscious and we are aware and we are sensitive to the fact that not everybody's active on the digital world, and some people still need a face-to-face assistance. So my advice to listeners is that make an appointment before you visit a branch. Go onto our website. There's a space for you to make appointments. Make an appointment. We guarantee that if you make an appointment, you will not wait more than 10 minutes to be served. But if you walk in without an appointment, what we call unsolicited walk-ins, then unfortunately we have to give preference to those who have appointments. That's the first comment I want to make. The second point I want to make is that for those people who do not have access to the digital networks or digital devices, we have developed what we colloquially call an ATM. It's not an ATM, it's a self-service kiosk that we have placed in every branch, where we will provide you with the equipment. You can log in. We will help you get your username, password, and you can do your tax return yourself with our help on our digital platform and not manually. So we are trying our best to accommodate as many people as possible. We are testing these kiosks out, and over time, we're hoping to deploy them at the various malls so that people who don't have an iPad or a laptop can still use the digital platforms that we have.
Well, we wish you well, Farid, and also, it's going to be interesting times. The next few months, obviously, tax filing season is huge. It's massive for SARS and also for the taxpayers. So we hope that all goes well. But for now, we thank you. We do appreciate you taking time out and sharing what you have with us this morning. All the best to you, Farid. Assalamu alaikum wa
Shukran.
rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Farid Khan, Regional Director for SARS Gauteng, with us this morning and warning taxpayers, warning citizens of this country about some of these latest tax return scams. And we need to take heed. Don't go into panic mode, but the key issue is be aware of these scams. And this is exactly what we intended to do this morning on the discussion with Farid Khan. The time is just headed for 9:34. We still have got the Western Cape government seeking to pass laws giving provincial and local authorities more powers. The City of Cape Town's Mayoral Committee member for Safety and Security, JP Smith, will be with us shortly. And also later on, we will be talking with Julius Kleinhans, property tax evaluation underway with the organization Undoing Tax Abuse.